Hello there, my name is Favor Stelmach and now we'll unveil the top news of recent days. Hungarian politician Laszlo Toroczkai announced territorial claims to Zakarpattia if Ukraine is defeated. Claudiu Tarju, the representative of the Romanian AUR party, said that he was ready to sacrifice Romania's membership in NATO for the annexation of Ukrainian territories. It doesn't seem to you that it is somehow not even human to divide the wells before the death of the owner, and Ukraine is not dead either. Do Hungarian and Romanian politicians hope to open a new front against Ukraine? In fact, no. Toroczkai and Tarju statements do not reflect the official position neither of Hungary nor Romania. These are radical populist politicians who thus attract attention. In fact, official Budapest now is working on restoring the friendly relations with Ukraine. As an example, yesterday meeting of ministers of foreign affairs in Uzhhorod.
We've received the list containing Hungary's suggestions concerning education and language for Hungarian minority in Ukraine, and we've agreed that our two foreign ministers will form a special commission for one very simple task. Within 10 days, it will present to both our governments a concrete understanding of how to solve and what exactly from this list of questions that we've received needs a solution, what already is regulated, so that we can have final clarity. If earlier we decided about national minorities' rights within the context of European Union membership, we now want to have this discussion on a bilateral level. We came here with the aim to rebuild the atmosphere of trust in our bilateral Hungarian-Ukrainian relations. I think we agreed that we have made encouraging steps toward this. There is still a long way to go and a lot of work will be needed, but we on the Hungarian side are ready to do the work and ready for further joint work.
Talks were held by Hungarian and Ukrainian ministers of foreign affairs, Peter Szijjártó and Dmytro Kuleba, and the head of the office of the President of Ukraine, Andriy Yermak. The parties discussed the implementation of Volodymyr Zelensky's peace formula. Yermak thanked Hungary for the participation of its representatives in the meetings of national security and political advisers, in particular in Davos. The participants touched upon the issues of sectoral cooperation between our two countries, in particular in the areas of logistics, transport, energy and finance. Also, Ukrainian politicians thanked Hungary for the humanitarian assistance provided since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion. This particularly concerns the shelter for Ukrainian citizens, including children, as well as the treatment of military personnel. The Ukrainian delegation also expressed gratitude to Hungary for the compromise in the decision to open negotiations on Ukraine's membership in the European Union. The parties discussed further cooperation and the issue of our integration into the Union. The meeting also focused on Ukraine's Euro-Atlantic integration. I remind you that membership in NATO implies an unconditional renunciation of territorial claims to other countries in support of the principle of internationally recognized borders. And now NATO membership is the only effective security guarantee for Romania and other European countries at a time when Moscow is trying to destroy the international order itself. If European countries abandon the principle of respect for territorial integrity, this may lead to chaos throughout the continent. In particular, there is a potential for a conflict between Hungary and Romania. Marginal politicians in the EU hope for the defeat of Ukraine in vain. Moreover, the bet on such a scenario poses catastrophic threats, primarily to their countries. Although we also remember the politicians who wanted to cooperate with the Germans in the 1930s. For the most part, such cooperation ended with the annexation of countries where supporters of a strong German leader lived. According to the Ukrainian state-owned company Energoatom, the lifetime of fuel in reactors is expiring at the temporarily occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. At the beginning of the full-scale invasion, the ZNPP was occupied by Russia, which not only had no experience in managing such a station, but also resorted to intimidation and torture of Ukrainian power engineers. The Russians, in violation of international law, have set up a military base on the territory of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant and periodically mine the perimeter around the power units.
Mines along the perimeter of ZNPP in a buffer zone between the facility's internal and external fences, which were previously identified by International Atomic Energy Agency team and were removed in November 2023, are now back in place. This is a restricted area inaccessible to operational plant personnel. Director General Grossi reiterated that the presence of mines is inconsistent with the International Atomic Energy Agency safety standards. International Atomic Energy Agency Director General statement on situation in Ukraine.
The ZNPP is the largest nuclear plant in Europe and is the third in the world in terms of total capacity. It fully complies with the IAEA requirements. Any calls on Moscow to transfer the control over the facility to Kyiv are ignored. On the contrary, the occupation administration provokes an accident by transferring power units from the cold to the hot state. Soon, the maximum 6 years of operation of nuclear fuel in all 6 power units of the ZNPP will pass. Its further use can lead to a radiation accident, causing a catastrophe of a global scale. Ukraine calls on the international community led by the IAEA to exert more pressure on the aggressor country to demilitarize the territory around the NPP and prevent a repetition of the Chernobyl disaster. The Central Electoral Commission of Russia has registered the current president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, as a candidate for the presidential elections in March of this year. So on March 17th, another pseudo-election of the president of the Russian Federation will take place. Putin is a dictator who usurped power in Russia. He has ruled Russia for almost a quarter of a century. Continued absolute power corrupts the Putin regime. It has destroyed the opposition within the country and is waging aggressive wars abroad. Putin has turned the lives of Ukrainians into hell and is zombifying Russians with poisonous propaganda, encouraging them to kill and die in a foreign country for the sake of his whims. There are no independent elections in totalitarian Russia. On March 17th, a propaganda action is being prepared, the purpose of which is to testify to the loyalty of the people to their leader. In an illegal way, the Kremlin is drawing millions of Ukrainian citizens in the temporarily occupied territories into its electoral farce.
Before the elections, Putin needs a victory at the front. After all, the Russian armed forces on their own have not demonstrated success for a very long time. Therefore, there are more offensives on Ukrainian positions. But something unexpected can happen. What if, instead of winning, the Russian Federation gets a good blunder? Not necessarily an offensive at the front. Let's look at the Russian Black Sea Fleet, the Crimean Bridge, or targets inside the Russian Federation. This will not cancel the coronation of the new Tsar, but his position will shake a little. Igor Taskevich, expert in programs for international and domestic policy of the Ukrainian Institute for the Future, on Facebook.
The Putin regime is involved in serious crimes. The dictator himself is wanted by the International Criminal Court for kidnapping Ukrainian children. To put an end to Putin's dictatorship, which threatens the whole world, it is necessary to achieve international non-recognition of Putin's re-election in 2024 and the change in his upper status to a usurper. That concludes our today's video. Thank you for watching. Stay updated. Comment, like and subscribe to our UATV English channel for more news from Ukraine. Your support is that really matters. Goodbye.